Okay. Yeah, so I was in curriculum and assessment at Sturt University. I've since retired, but I'm an adjunct there. So, and my role was to support learning designers who were supporting academics in online, transferring their face-to-face into online courses. And for those of you that don't know, Sturt is one of the 3 big distance ed universities that was sort of online before most universities were online. So we didn't have the same trauma of going online because of the pandemic, but we were still in trauma from having transferred a couple of years earlier. And so when I retired, well, while I was in the job, there was a couple of us, a small little group that came from this tradition, including Sally McCarthy, and she and I were trying to encourage the learning designers to consider the teaching learning cycle as something valuable in an online space. We succeeded in some aspects, but not in others. And in the end, when I retired, I thought I want to have a go at it myself. So I'm what you call an independent education provider. And I found a platform from the University of New South Wales called Open Learning that has a social constructivist view of learning, and constructed their learning management system as a social site. So on the basis of that, I signed up and I wrote 3 courses over a 6 months period, a year and a half ago. And they were about teaching people to connect through talk, which is blame-free and gives you an opportunity to express yourself honestly using a particular set of language choices, listen empathetically, and also self-connect to yourself empathetically. And the 3 courses work where the first course is like, have you ever thought about how to deal with a difficult conversation? Second course is, well, here are the ingredients to have that conversation. And the third course is, let's apply those ingredients into 3 different social contexts of connection. So where am I pointing? Did it happen? Oh, right. So I'm just going to quickly show you the courses. I'm just course number 1. It's called Connecting Through Talk Introduction. Quickly take you through the learning and teaching cycle, although I'm going to make an assumption most of you know what it is. Then the collaboration between Sarah and I and how it came about. And then I'm going to hand over to Sarah because she's the gamification guru, because her PhD was in gamification in an online learning space in education. Okay, right. So this is looking at the interface. Once you go into the course, you can see the course module there on the left. It's darker grey. So we're in the modules. In this course, there are 3. One module is Why Compassionate Talk. The second module is a framework of compassionate talk. And then the third module is preparing for a difficult conversation. And then I had them do an online sort of end of course survey. And the first iteration of these courses, the student responses were incredibly favourable, and they were very pleased with what they were interacting with. But just about everybody said, but I wish there was some more interesting, engaging content, like, could we have some videos, please, amongst other things. And that just made my, the blood rush away from my face, because I wasn't that interested in being a talking head, but I've gotten used to it now. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Anyway, I decided I needed to revise the courses. So what we're going to talk about today is the revision process, and that's where Sarah comes in. Sarah and I met each other through a mentoring program through the University of New South Wales ADFA, and we got basically given each other, and Sarah was at the end of her PhD. In the process of looking for work, she had a bit of a gap, and so we worked together on gamifying these 3 courses. So I was curious, what does gamifying mean? Now, do you mind just hitting that link? So I'm just going to show you the landing page. Oh, no. We went beautifully a minute ago, didn't it? Okay. Thanks to Sarah.
I can't stand it when people aren't on time. Drives me crazy. It's so inconsiderate. Then again, I shouldn't be so hard on her. I know she's got a lot going on. So what's wrong with me? I shouldn't be so uptight. Why can't I just let things go? But honestly, I'm just so annoyed. It's just not fair that this is taking all my energy. Why can't she be on time in the first place?
Hi, Etty.
Hi, Alex.
About today's meeting, I've had something come up. So is it okay if we start a bit later, in about half an hour or so?
Sure.
Great. Thanks for being so flexible. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Hi. You have to grab your audience, apparently. Okay, so I'll see if I can, yep, great. So the first thing that I just want to show you is, move it on. Right, so what's underpinning how those modules work is the learning and teaching cycle. So building the field is like, what do we know about the field and what do we need to learn about the field? And that comes in and out all the way through the course. This deconstruction, what's going on in these texts, pointing out the bits, bringing them together carefully. Of course, noticing where they work in our culture and how they work in a particular situation, as well as cultural context. What are their grammatical and semantic features? Putting it together with support, scaffolded teacher support, and the option is in the activities for them to work together through. I call it slow talk. You know, they post and then they can comment, post, comment, post, comment, and then of course giving them opportunities to do it themselves. So these courses do not have me in a synchronous time. It's all asynchronous. If they see me, it's only as an avatar. If they interact with me, it's only in, sorry, is that better? Yeah, if they interact with me, it's because I've woken up in the morning and thought, oh, I better go see what's going on in the course, and there's a few people that are interacting and I want to comment on what they're doing. But I did try to design it so I wasn't married to it. I could come and go. And then, of course, the independent construction where they give it a go. And the idea is if they want me to give them feedback or comment, I will. But otherwise, it's just left to them. And there is no formal assessment. I don't give them any formal qualification because I'm just Elizabeth. But they can pay for a certificate, which is kind of one of the options for me to get a bit of money back for having spent a bit of money to get up online, because there's an educator provider cost. Okay, so just in the course one, the left-hand side, the orange is the modules, the grey is the pages in the modules, and then the right-hand side is how I see the parts of the TLC mapped onto those modules. And you'll notice that there is no independent construction in the first one. I scaffold them all the way through. The independent construction comes at the end of course 3 because they've got the ingredients, they understand the context they'd use it in, they've got the parts, and they've got the application modes. So then they've got all the bits and then they can do it. But as I said, the learners wanted some more, more interest. They liked the content, but I wasn't giving them the, the look and feel that was conducive for them to enjoy themselves more. So Sarah comes in the picture, and Sarah's now a learning designer at La Trobe University and is working full time using her wonderful skills. So,
Okay.
Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a bit nervous. I don't know why, but I keep feeling nervous every time I present something. I don't know why. I'm a PhD researcher, so presentation is part of my life. But still, I feel nervous every time. So So the main problem there was about the engagement. We have three aspects in engagement in online learning. We're talking about content engagement, which was great because Elizabeth has a good content with the situation, everything was okay. The second thing is the engagement between students together. So we need to like design activities and reflection to make students feel engaging. And the third one is the engagement with the interface. We are talking here about the look and feel of the design and the navigation and this stuff. It's the technical skills, the technical aspect. Now, I use the gamification principles to enhance the design, especially for the engagement aspect. What is gamification? It's the use of game elements in non-game context. What does this mean? I would like you to imagine that you observe someone like a student who plays a game. Okay, what you will notice? You will notice that they are so excited, they feel fun, engaged, focused. Like my son, if I call him, come here to have a lunch, he will never answer me because he plays games, because playing games is playing games. If we compare playing games with education, there is a huge gap between them. So here, where the learning designers thought, why don't we think like game designers? So why learning designers don't think like game designers? So for example, if we look at this game, you see this game, this is Candy Crush. This is one of the most popular games. All ages play this game. Now, as a learning designer, what we do? We look at the game, try to observe what game designers do there to make this game engaging. So for example, we'll find that there is a level. What does levels mean? That means they start with easy level, easy steps. Then after the players gain points, they go to the next level, which is more complex, and more complex. This is how they engage players. We find also that they use points. So they start with 0 points, and as they play, they gain more points, and these points leveling them up. They use a progress bar it's an opportunity for the players to monitor the progress. And research found that these elements and more help players to be more engaging and focused in the game. So learning designer now ask themselves, why don't we use the same principle and try to put them in education? Maybe this will enhance the educational engagement in the education sector. We are trying, okay? But there is a huge difference between playing games, which is total for entertainment, and for education, which for goals and for future. Okay, so everything I'm going to explain in the following slides already there in education, but gamification put all these elements in one place. So the gamification principle help you as an educator or as a learning designer to organize your thinking. It's like checklist. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. So at the end, you can evaluate your work. This is why gamification is popular now. And also that research show that gamification enhances student skill, academic achievement, and motivation. Now, how we map gamification into the TLC cycle. Okay, the first thing we was thinking of, we need to determine what is the elements, the main elements of LTC. What does this mean? What are the elements that should be there to make LTC implemented in a proper way, and we get results from that. So based on this teaching and learning cycle, we found that we have 5 main elements should be there. We need to engage students from the beginning. We need to build content knowledge. We need to have a talk and reflection, guided practice, monitoring. So we have a guide, a monitor, instruction, and independent construction at the end. So students will work by themselves. Now, determining the main elements, we are going to determine the gamification elements that we are going to use to make all these processes succeed. This is what we found. What do I mean by elements here? For example, did you see the video there where Elizabeth was talking? This is where we use relevance. So instead of adding a picture or an image, we can add a video, and this video is relevant to the learner's life. So when they see this video, they know that when we enter this course, we will learn something that will help us in the future. And we use like example, like meetings, because everyone here has a meeting, and we have a colleague or a friend or a husband or whatever, all the time cancel meetings at the end. So we need to have to deal with these problems. So this is what relevance and interest mean. When I saw, for example, building content, I'm talking about focus, balance, and challenge. Focus means that we don't need to use long sections in online learning. We need to use short sections. When we have a video, we are trying to use videos only 5 minutes, not more than this. When we give them activities, we need to make sure that there is a balance between their knowledge and the activities we provide them when we give, and so on. Now, talk and reflection, social interaction. That means we need to add activities where students interact with each other. And there is interaction as well between the instructor and the students. So we need to make sure that at the end, there is activities where there is a reflection, there is a social interaction between students. Guided practice, we are talking about feedback and scaffolding, supporting students all the time. And this is a challenging thing in online learning, because in online learning, we are asking educators to do more work than face-to-face. They should be there most of the time. How we can solve this problem? By adding more activities with answers that will help students to review their work as they go in each level. Then the last thing, independent construction, which means that we are talking about progression, leveling up. So at the beginning, the students will need Elizabeth there, but as they're leveling up, that means Elizabeth is not there, and we will decrease the presence of the educator. Okay, now let's go to talking about, this is the element. Now, as an educator and as a learning designer, how did I design this one? So we have 4 design principles in gamification. The first one is mechanics, means that each page should have goals, rules, and objectives, clear ones. So in each page, students will, once they open the page, they will see what they are going to do, what they are supposed to learn at the end of this page. The second is the story. A story is the action, the series of action and activities that we will create to have interaction between these elements. It's like the activities you are going to create as an educator to make sure that the results are very good and the engagement is there. Then we have a technology. Here it's very important, especially for private sectors, because they don't have all the available resources. So after we said that we need to add this and this and that, now what is my available resources? What is the widgets? What is the platform I'm going to use? So if I'm going to use open learning platform, what are the widgets? What I'm going to use? Sometimes I create a very good activity, but I can't find the resources for this activity. How I'm going to adapt? How I'm going to find a better activity for this? Now, look and feel of the design and attribute, which is very important. Here I'm talking about the artwork of the design, the navigation. And this is very important because in online learning, we miss this part. We think it's about content and activities and this part. Let's have an examples. For example, before and after, for the focus element, before, without having gamification. So we found that we have 3 pages, and these pages have a long sections. Now we change it to 6 pages, and each page has short sections with short videos and short talks. That's how we can grab and maintain the attention of the students. Another relevance and interest, as I said before, we have only a picture there or an image that represent connecting through talk, communication. Now we have this scenario-based learning aspect where we use a scenario or a situation that students will face in the future and they can learn from it. In relevance and interest, we also grab the attention and maintain it. The look and feel of the design. So instead of using only paragraph, we use a picture of Elizabeth. That means there is a human behind this online module. There is a human who really would like to interact with you. Then about the attributes like navigation, we add more like section where to go next and so on. Because we found out that even those students familiar with open learning, still they have issues with navigation. So we need to make things more clear for them. Now, learner responses. Still, this is the initial results. This is the initial results, and we couldn't get enough responses from 2022 module. So we have the same course twice, 2021 before applying gamification, 2022 after applying gamification. We have 44 students in year 2021, only 9 students in year 2022 because it's still a new module. However, we found out that course design and motivation, design motivated me to learn increased. Okay, and also we found that learning activities helped me to extend my knowledge. These two aspects increased. But I have one notice that the average age for 2022, it's from 51 to 71 years old. Most of them, like 90% of the students were this age group, while in 2021, from 18 to 71, and most of them were 18. So I believe this initial results mean there is an engagement, and this group of users is well educated and they have experience, and these results are very satisfied for this group of age. But we expect that by having more users, maybe we will get more results and we can understand the perspectives of students more than this. So there is an enhancement, but still we need to get more students to understand their perspectives, and this is how we integrate gamification with the teaching and learning cycle. Thank you. Right.